Welcome to Garden Plants with Jim Putnam. Let's talk Dear Dolores Hydrangea. This is Dear Dolores Hydrangea from the Southern Living Plant Collection. This is a remontant hydrangea, meaning it blooms on old and new wood. So even if it got potentially damaged during the winter, or somebody mistimed the pruning on it, which happens pretty frequently in the winter on some of these hydrangeas, you'll still get flowers on it. Has an incredibly compact habit, very, very large inflorescences. They're going to be either pink or blue depending on the soil. We'll talk a little more about that later, and it has beautiful, dark, rich green leaves as well. Again, Dear Dolores is a very compact growing variety of Hydrangea macrophylla, but it can still reach about 5 feet in height and about 5 feet in width. But it does it, I mean, I haven't had to do any pruning on this one in over 2 years. It's been in the ground. It's just kind of kept this really nice compact habit. I would say medium to almost fast growing. It was only about this big when it went in the ground. So year over year, it's growing, close to a foot probably. These inflorescences will start off kind of a green color here in Raleigh, North Carolina in zone 7B, a little earlier than some other folks that can grow these. We'll start to see the buds on them mid-April, and here we are the first day of June and they're in full flower. They'll start off kind of a green color and then over time develop into these very large, these are sterile inflorescences that are probably about 8 inches across. It's pH dependent on these Hydrangea macrophylla. If you have alkaline soil, your pH is above 7, you're likely to have very pink flowers. Below that, the more acid it is, the more likely they are to be blue or even purple. But you also have to have aluminum present. So aluminum in the soil matters as well in terms of getting this blue color. If you have acidic soil and you're still not getting this blue color or purple color that you want, you can try adding aluminum sulfate for that, or some sort of soil acidifier for making hydrangeas blue that's available. But these are just absolutely incredible. And again, this is a remontant variety. So even if the buds were to get damaged during the winter time, you're still gonna have flowers. And that also means that these are gonna flower from now right until fall. I will have some color on this plant. Dear Dolores is hardy in zones 5 to 9. So lots of people watching this can grow it. The placement may be different in your garden, depending on where you live. Up in zone 5 and 6, you can definitely put these in a little bit more sun with maybe just some little afternoon protection is fine. As you get further and further south, they definitely need to go in more shade. The problem with that sometimes though is you reach a point where they just don't get enough sun to do what this one is doing and have a lot of flowers. You'll end up with a stretched plant and only just a few flowers on it. So, here in Raleigh in zone 7B, this one's probably getting about 3 hours of direct light, and then it's just getting bright light the rest of the time. And that's enough to keep it full and compact and absolutely covered in color. It may be something you have to play around with. It's okay to plant a plant in part shade to start off with. And if you see that it's stretching, you're not getting as many flowers, it probably needs a bit more sun. If it is burning in the afternoon or wilting constantly, it may need to move back into some more shade. So just determine that based on what's going on with it. This is one plant that I say sometimes may take a couple shots to find the right place for it in your garden. So of course, this is great as an accent plant. It's great in a low hedge. You can use these mass planted in some sort of mixed border. It's going to get some pretty good size to it over time. Great in a woodland garden, again, though it does need enough bright light to bloom for sure. And then we're just using it as a specimen plant. So it's just a one of a kind. It's next to a gold hosta. It has a green backdrop to it, so the flowers really, really show off. And it's just a perfect little one-off in the garden. These Hydrangea macrophyllas like rich, well-drained soil. That means that they are pretty fond of a little more organic material than maybe other things. So if you put in a couple shovelfuls of compost, that may go a long way to helping this plant thrive in your garden. Drought is an interesting question because once they're established, they don't need a lot of ongoing watering. But here in the south, we'll get some afternoon wilting on them. Once we get consistent days up in the mid-90s, sometimes these will wilt in the afternoon, but it's not necessarily because it needs water. It's because the water is being taken out of these giant leaves faster than the roots can actually pull water back up into the plant. And frequently the sun will go down and they just come right back up. So be careful not to panic water these. If you see it wilting, go pull some mulch back from the base of it, stick your finger down in the ground a couple inches. If it's moist, then the actual issue is that you just don't have a big enough root system to support what's going on up top. And as soon as the sun goes down, it'll pop back up. If it's dry, obviously, you'll water it and water it well. When I say something becomes drought tolerant, old established Hydrangea macrophylla like this, you don't really have to water them, but in order to get what we're getting here, and having it full, having the leaves look, like they're in great shape all summer long, there's probably a few times this summer that we'll drag a water hose over to this thing and water it thoroughly if we have an extended period of time without rain. We fertilize everything in the garden in late winter, early spring with an organic fertilizer. Again, you can use some sort of soil acidifier on it if the flowers have been pinker than you would like at that time. Pruning is tricky on Hydrangea macrophyllas. Really you need to do it right after they finish their spring or early summer flowering. These remontant varieties, if you do a little bit of pruning on them or not, if you come under here and take off these spent flowers as they're finished, you can get new branching and you'll get some additional flowers later in the season. If you need to do kind of a hard setback, that would also be the time to do that, just after this heavy spring flowering. It may not have enough time if you're taking it way back to get very many additional flowers during that season, so keep that in mind. But at some point, this one's gonna outgrow this space a bit, and what I'll probably do is let it bloom in June, and then as it starts to slow down, I'll just take it down pretty hard 1 year and get it a little below where I want to keep it so that I can go a couple seasons again and just let it grow. But ideally you would put this in a spot where it just gets, you have room for it to get 4x4 or 5x5, and you just don't have to do a whole lot of pruning on it, period. These big leaf hydrangeas can get some leaf spot issues on them, so we leave our leaves out here in the garden. But this is one exception to that. Anytime the Hydrangea macrophylla leaves come off in the fall, they'll get some halfway decent fall color on them in the northern areas. Down here in the south, they tend to be a little burned out by fall and we don't get great color on them. But when the leaves fall off of them, we do clean these up, get rid of these leaves so the leaf spot isn't just popping right back up on it in the spring. Over the course of the winter, before they leaf back out, we'll put some fresh mulch up under them. And that's pretty much it on the maintenance, really almost nothing. The occasional pruning, fertilizing once a year, cleaning up the leaves in the fall, and remulching. And so that's it. This is Dear Dolores Hydrangea from the Southern Living Plant Collection. I highly, highly recommend this variety if you can find it.